14 months before the first moon landing, Neil Armstrong was already practicing with a lunar lander prototype here on Earth. But this experiment went terribly wrong. Armstrong failed to land the prototype, and in the final 2 seconds, he had to eject to save his life. Luckily, he survived. Yet when Apollo 11 successfully landed on the moon, conspiracy theories arose. If Armstrong couldn't control the lander on Earth, how did he manage to land it on the moon? Welcome back to JUM TV's videos, dear viewers. It's been 54 years since Neil Armstrong first set foot on the moon, but even today, many still believe the entire event was nothing more than a staged hoax by NASA and the United States. And when you hear these conspiracy theories, some of them sound surprisingly logical, so much so that many begin to wonder, did America really lie to the world? Was the moon landing filmed in some deserted location on Earth instead? These theories resurface every few years. For example, in 2002, Bart Sibrel, who believed the landings were fake, confronted Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin with some controversial questions in public. Aldrin lost his patience and punched Sibrel in the face. This moment fueled the conspiracy theories once again. Many claimed Aldrin's anger was proof he was hiding something. But the real question remains, was NASA's moon landing authentic, or was it just a secret plan to outshine the Soviet Union during the Cold War? Remember, the space race began with the Soviets taking the lead. They launched the world's first satellite, and even sent the first unmanned spacecraft to touch the moon, 10 years before Apollo 11. So why did the Soviet Union never succeed in sending humans there, while NASA managed it 6 times? Let's break down these theories one by one. The first doubt people raise is about the cameras used on the moon. Photographer Marcus Allen claimed that the photos taken on the lunar surface seem far too perfect. He argued that astronauts, inside their bulky pressurized suits, couldn't possibly have handled such complex cameras. To demonstrate this, conspiracy theorist Ralph Rene wore astronaut-style gloves and placed his hand in a vacuum chamber. Once the air was removed, his gloves stiffened so much that moving his fingers became nearly impossible. In that condition, pressing a shutter button or adjusting focus seemed unthinkable. So how did the astronauts take such sharp and flawless photos? Aerospace engineer Jay Windley explained that the astronauts used a specially modified Hasselblad 500 EL camera designed for lunar missions. It attached directly to the astronaut suits, meaning they didn't have to hold it in their hands. The shutter button was enlarged so it could be pressed even with stiff gloves, and the focus ring was adapted to rotate easily. On Earth, astronauts had already practiced extensively with this system to ensure they could capture the best possible photos on the moon. Another suspicious point raised by conspiracy theorists involved shadows. A former head of Rocketdyne claimed that shadows in the photos were not parallel, even though the sun was the only light source on the moon. They argued this suggested artificial studio lights were used. For instance, in one photo, the lander's shadow goes in one direction, while the astronaut's shadow points elsewhere. To many, this looked like evidence of staged photography. But experts say shadows don't always appear parallel on Earth either. For shadows to be parallel, the objects themselves must stand parallel, and that wasn't always the case on the moon. Wide-angle lenses and uneven surfaces also distort shadows, making them appear to diverge. Another claim: in one photo, astronaut Buzz Aldrin is seen climbing down the lunar module, and although that side of the lander is in shadow, Aldrin himself appears well lit. Conspiracy theorists argue this would only be possible with an extra light source. But scientists explain that the moon's surface reflects sunlight. Just as Earth glows brightly during a full moon, the lunar soil bounced sunlight back, illuminating Aldrin even in the shadow. The American flag on the moon also sparked controversy. Why was it perfectly lit from both sides when only one side faced the sun? The answer is simple. The flag was made of nylon, which allows light to pass through. Another question: why did the flag appear to wave if there's no air on the moon? Buzz Aldrin explained that the flagpole had to be twisted and forced into the ground, and because of the moon's weaker gravity, the flag shook more dramatically. It was also designed with a horizontal rod across the top to keep it spread out, which added to the illusion of waving. Yet another theory questioned why the lander's thrusters didn't leave a crater beneath them. A blow on Earth can move dust and rocks, so surely the powerful rocket engines should have dug a hole in the lunar soil. But physicists explained that just a few feet before landing, the engines were throttled down and shut off, reducing thrust significantly. Photos do show some dust scattered around, but not enough to form a crater or cover the landing gear. Still, some argue that even at 25% thrust, the force should have created a crater on Earth. But the moon's environment behaves differently, and the exact physics of this are still debated today. Another mystery: why are there no stars visible in the lunar photos? The answer lies in camera exposure. Just like our eyes, cameras adjust to bright light. Since the lunar surface was glowing under intense sunlight, the camera settings captured the bright foreground while faint stars were overpowered. That's why the sky appears black, just as it would at night without an atmosphere. Remember, Earth's blue sky comes from atmospheric scattering. Without an atmosphere, like on the moon, the sky remains pitch black, even in daylight. So what do you think? Did America truly send humans to the moon? Or was it an elaborate trick to defeat the Soviets? If you have questions or thoughts, share them in the comments. And don't forget to like and share this video. Thank you for your love and support. We'll see you again in the next exciting episode.